Awaken to play. Hopefully things are going well for you guys. As for me, welcome to the Gamer Man's Lounge, and today we have an episode of Waifus of Gaming. Now, with that totally said, there's a lot of Natlan waifus that I gotta get oh wait, I already covered a lot of 5-star Natlan waifus. But there's one more. No, I don't have Seat Lolly, but I do have Xilonen, and I was glad that I got Xilonen because best damn support around. And it's good to have 5-star supports. Natlan has been known as the nation of Pyro. Also, Natlan has been known to make sure their resident maidens catch up as much as they can to the Zenless Zone Zero levels of waifu design. That said, Natlan waifus have been known to excel in sexiness compared to other nations previously explored in Teyvat, which is very interesting. Today, we take a look at the cool cat girl of the collection, an additional 5-star support waifu and healer. Fellow viewers, this is Xilonen. She is a big-time celebrity blacksmith who can craft the finest gear and gadgets, and she has been responsible for creations for others, including Mavwika's motorbike. That's not all. She made Mavwika's glasses, Kachina's drill car, and her duties also go as far as name engraver. Being a Natlan blacksmith can give you a special kind of deal, where you also can be a name engraver, which has you foraging ancient names for the people of Natlan. She has been taking on the toughest of jobs. As a matter of fact, she had to even forge one ancient name for the Traveler, which had the player step into the abyss to aid the Pyro Archon in that one weekly boss fight. Let's just say what it is. It's a weekly boss fight. Xilonen does big time in terms of avoiding overworking herself, okay? Now, with that totally said, she manages to make sure that she has a well enough balance of work and other things in her life. Xilonen loves to lie down and chill in the sunlight when it comes to her free time. Sunbathing seems to be a big thing when it comes to her free time, and that is entirely understandable. Being a blacksmith with an additional duty and working with the Archon can do some things. And of course, taking on the toughest jobs of all jobs given to a blacksmith. Talking about the sunlight seems to be noticeably soothing for her. In terms of her behaviors, she is chill. She's more laid back at most when it comes to the attitude and behaviors. The Labs Lounge has been poking at me, and with that totally said, let's take the time to appreciate the beauty and elegance of this sexy cool cat. And with that totally said, it's time for me to leave it to the Waifu Labs Lounge to take it away. Let us take a good look at our Kimono Mimi Xilonen. She is greater known across her tribe and all of Natlan. She forges ancient names, but also crafts weapons, tools, and gadgets. We are taking a look at a really stylish 2-piece outfit, but there is a nice looking stylish-ish cape-like jacket. Her hair is amazingly detailed in design. It is very stylish. Her choice of makeup is stellar, and of course, she looks very gorgeous, very dreamy at the end of the day. When her body decals activate a countable of her abilities, it really does highlight a lot of her. Milk distribution looks very plenty, and of course, they do go boing. Taking a good look at her midriff, she is really curvy at the end of the day, and her back presentation is amazing. When room is made for her tail, it does both us and her a favor. Her thighs are really thick, more than lap pillow quality, and not only that, she's got a really nice booty that's shaken. Her shorts come with well-structured windows that show off her skin, and that's appreciative. You don't have to worry about her on rollerblades. She's gonna be on sandals a lot of the time, so yes, she has nice feet. She is one of the most definitive sex bombs across Natlan when it comes to Teyvat. She is very sexy, and of course her choice of makeup is impressive. Her body decals when they glow are very impressive. She's a max rare Kimono Mimi waifu who gets to keep her tail. This is a rare thing for Hoyoverse to have their 5-star Kimono Mimi waifus have their tails. As a matter of fact, more 5-star Kimono Mimi Hoyoverse waifus have managed to get their tails. Early days, the tails would get hidden as the ones with the tail would be 4-star units. That was getting under my skin. Now, to be fair, Yaimiko would have her tail hidden until you put her skills to use. But if we're going to be talking about Xilonen, she is indeed the Genshin Kimono Mimi waifu who is 5-star and still manages to have her tail and not end up having to hide her tail. As a matter of fact, she is a wild cat girl with her traits, ears, and tail being an ocelot. Now, she is a cat girl, which is common, but hold on, she is an ocelot girl, which is indeed a rare Kimono Mimi waifu, okay? It is time to move on to the gameplay mechanics. She is a convenient Geosword user. In exploration, she makes climbing more for the impatient, as well as, like other Natlan waifus, make traveling and exploration more for the impatient as well. Getting her on roller skates has her travel land faster, but she skates on walls, mountains, and cliffs. When she takes off her coat, things get arousing for the best. Her body decals glow, which is traditional of Natlan waifus, but you can get a look at her whole torso. You can see it from front and back, and you would just appreciate more of Xilonen at the end of the day. It's not just for show. Her roller skates are part of her elemental skill. Going over to combat, attacking someone with the roller skates on would charge an additional meter that she gets to, let's just say, once full, decrease elemental resistances of enemies nearby. That's right, she debuffs her nearby enemies for her teammates to be able to penetrate more into the defenses. I would love to penetrate Xilonen after I have her stripped naked. That would be great. Anyway, you will find yourself equipped with the teams where Xilonen is the healer and support, and the teammates would each carry an element that is a Pyro, Cryo, Electro, and Hydro. Now, yes, I'm about to get into that. Give me a second. Anemo and Dendro are not supported. And with that totally said, elemental resistance would be no problem for your, let's just say for your example, your Pyro and Cryo DPS duo, like say Ganyu and Yoimiya, or let's just say Ganyu and Hu Tao. Letting you know now, heads up when it comes to Geo units. They can become temporary shield generators should crystallize effects happen by mixing Geo with different elements besides Dendro and Anemo, okay? Collect the crystallized particles, and you got temporary shields. Ah, here we go, there's that word, quick shields. Alright, so let's get right on going to her elemental burst. This is essentially her healer part that is activated as 2 or 3 of your teammates are a different element as long as it's not Dendro or Anemo, remember. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut myself off for a second there. Okay, what if your team only has like 1 or none supported element, or say your team is entirely Geo? Xilonen cannot be the healer because she is short. You need 2 or 3 supported element users in her team in order for Xilonen's good time, big time heals to kick in, and she heals really well at the end of the day. But going back to the question of your team comps being all Geo, or basically having just one supported element user, her heals would get replaced by additional Geo AoE damage. That's right, rather than heal, she would be doing additional AoE Geo damage. Such an idea would potentially bring in ideas to the players' minds who have Xilonen. And with that totally said, some players think of an idea of a DPS Xilonen or a sub-DPS Xilonen. Now, that would be an idea, but you're going to have to experiment around with it. Like I said, it's an idea for experiments. Nobody said it was easy, by the way, okay? Xilonen is at most a support unit who decreases resistance of enemies, but also heals as long as you're not short of supported elemental users. The Lounge has experimented with a DPS or sub-DPS team comp when it comes to Xilonen and a DPS build. Yes, you're going to have to take a look at different artifact stats and, of course, different team comps. But I will have to repeat myself. Xilonen is at most a support unit who decreases resistance of enemies, but also heals as long as you are not short of supported elemental users. She is great in both combat and exploration, which is tradition when it comes to Natlan. Like Natlan 5-star waifus, they're also great when you have fun with them in the bed. She is a hell of a support unit at best, and Xilonen is one hell of a babe and really common Natlan babe. She is the finest you must have in your collection. An elegant, chill, and sexy blacksmith waifu with a cuddly tail and ears so fascinating and fluffy. If you get her, you get more treasure, by the way. She is great in team comps, and she is great to look at and admire and appreciate. When waifus are made, things become art more often. She is an example. And with that totally said, we need 5-star Natlan waifus in my collection, in your collection, in all of our collection, because, man, the Natlan waifu, when it comes to the designs, someone went all out when they made the Natlan waifus. I will go ahead and say that. The Natlan 5-star waifus are off the charts compared to other nations in Teyvat. And, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And with that totally said, that is all. I will look forward to you in the next video. Peace out.